What's up, YouTube? I am back, and today we're going to talk about how to prepare and take advantage of a recession. Now, recessions are something that are happening in our economic system, but recession is something that happens almost every 6 to 8 years right now in the U.S. It should happen every decade, but it's happening every 6 to 8 years. And every 6 to 8 years, people are falling behind on their bills. People are falling behind on their finances because a recession is taking place. So I want to help you get ahead of the game, and I want to help you learn what you can do to change the odds of your financial future for a recession. Okay, so let's get started. Now, what is a recession? A recession is an economic downturn or economic activity. I want to give you my personal recession story. I am a millennial, and when I turned 18, it was the year 2008, and we had a recession. It was the same recession that we got into during the Bush era, and then Obama had to get us out of that recession. But I was a kid going away to college in 2008. I remember nobody had any money. I remember people were helping each other. Even as a student, the students were helping each other. We would help each other, buy food, or we would help each other with the resources we had. If someone sent a care package or something like that, money was pretty tight in 2008. I remember kids even, having to hitch rides to college and having to, rely on their friends to be there for them. And that's how tight things were in 2008. I was also a part of that crowd who graduated in 2013. And when we got ready to graduate in 2013, they said, oh, we don't know if you guys are going to be able to get jobs because we're still trying to recover from the recession. So as a millennial, we've seen plenty of issues and plenty of things that have risen up that were not in our control, and we don't have any control of to solve these problems, right? Millennials have seen a great deal of change, and to be honest with you, we're not done seeing the great deal of change that we're going to see. So I wanted to give you my own recession story of when my first recession was and what it was like. I just remembered nobody really had the money, and people were just trying to help each other to make it. So that is my personal story. And I can tell you that I knew a lot of friends that had to go back and live at home and be with their parents at home because of the recession and what it actually did, and the effects of it. A lot of people couldn't get jobs. Me personally, I could not get in my field. To get in my field, I needed experience on top of experience that I didn't have. I even had an internship, but my internship wasn't enough experience to get the job that I wanted to get fresh out of college. And I ended up being one of those kids who basically just settled for whatever they could get. And whatever I could get was actually my first job at Amazon. So that's what recessions do. They make you pivot, they make you change, they take people's finances away from them, and they make people get behind. And this is why it's so important to talk about these issues that we're having today. Now, I'm going to help discuss ways to be intentional with your money, give you strategies to help make money, to get out of debt. And getting out of debt is a big part of actually succeeding in a recession. And I'll tell you why. It's because you need cash. You need cash to buy up anything you can in a recession to take advantage. So first, let's talk about being intentional with our money, okay? Now, my advice is to anyone who wants to get ahead in recession is to have fewer financial issues. If you have debt, try to get out of debt as much as possible. Try to create and save money. Cash is king right now. I wouldn't say debt is king. I would say cash is king, especially in the recession. So as long as we have cash and we're not digital, cash is king right now. And what you want to do is get out of debt as much as possible. Save as much money in cash as you can. Take benefits and advantages of the money that people are trying to give you in your savings. Take advantage of the stock market. If the stocks are low, those kind of things will help you be on top. But first, get out of debt, reduce all expenses that you can, save money in cash. Also, you want to make sure that if you are worried about your job, go ahead and update your resume. Get somebody to look at your resume, make sure it's up to date, just in case your job lays people off or you have to make a pivot financially for what you need, okay? Next, you want to try to liquidate anything that you don't need. You have all these minimalists that talk about get rid of clutter. Honestly, if you're not using it, if you haven't touched it in a while, if it doesn't bring you joy, you need to get rid of it. And you can get rid of it to help make extra cash to get out of debt, or again, to save up that cash that I told you to put in your bank account, okay? Now, you can also sell some of these things on Poshmark and eBay. And don't worry, I'm coming out with a video next week about reselling. I'm going to teach you about reselling, how you can resell, what you can do to help better your financial situation if that is a side hustle that you're interested in. Now, the less that you have, the more you can save up. You can even save that emergency fund. If you don't have an emergency fund, you might need 3 to 6 months emergency fund of cash. But if, say if even the recession is not what you think it's going to be, say if the recession was supposed to be really bad, but now it's a mild recession, or it's a recession you may not even feel, then good, you have cash on hand. And with that cash, you can still do some of the things that I'm going to suggest to you to get ahead, okay? Now, let's talk about taking advantage of a recession. So here's how you can take advantage of a recession. Recession is when the wealthy come out to play. This is when the wealthy come out to re-up, basically. Okay? So this is the time to actually purchase anything that may be a valuable asset. Not liabilities, not anything that can be detrimental to your wealth, but assets. Let's talk land, let's talk real estate, let's talk investments, let's talk passive income. This is when the wealth comes out to spend their money, because to them it's like everything is on a discount. So that's why you can get ahead in a recession, okay? Imagine getting land, real estate, everything at a discounted price. That is what happens during a recession. So the wealthy come out with cash on hand, or some of them have debt, especially in real estate, but they come out to play. They have the money, they have everything in place. Well, some people are worried about their finances. They are worried about spending and taking advantage of the economy while they can, okay? And you need to get that mindset in your head, the mindset to take things by force, okay? Whether that's, spiritually, because we talk about spiritual things here. That is a Bible verse about taking things by force. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and start taking everything you want and being sinful and deceitful. No, I'm talking about using your brain to think positively and take things by force. For people who believe in positive thinking came from the Bible. I can show you at another time, but it's just getting off track. Positive thinking came from the Bible. So you can take your positive thinking, you can take the reality of your world, you can take it by force, by being proactive. Same thing with you watching over your finances. You can take things by force by being proactive. While other people are asleep, you are awake, you are budgeting, you're watching your money, you are finding ways to make new income. You are taking things by force. You are not sitting back and just being an innocent bystander and watching what's going on and saying, well, who's going to help me? Who's going to get me out of this? Newsflash, no one's coming to save you. I hate hearing people say that, but it's so true. Nobody's coming to save you. The government cannot even keep up with all the things that they need to do anymore. It is complete calamity out there, and nobody's going to come save you. We have to be proactive. We have to watch our own back, and we have to look out for each other and help each other know what we need to do out here. That's what I'm here for, to help you get through and not be a innocent bystander sitting back watching buildings burn. I'm helping you take out the fire before it even gets started. That's what we're doing. So this is when wealthy people bring out their money to play. So if you have money to play, this is the time to bring it out. This is the time to invest with all that you have financially. Now, this is also a good time to create innovative businesses. This is the time where Airbnb, Lyft, what's some other businesses that started? You got things like Redbox. There are so many businesses that started in that 2008 recession. So this is the time to do innovative businesses that people are not even thinking about, and making us use businesses in a new way. So this is your time to put on your thinking cap and be innovative about how can I take something and revolutionize it. Like, how can I revolutionize an ice maker? How can I revolutionize trash bags? Usually, I mean, honestly, Airbnb is just a hotel revolutionized. Same thing with Lyft, Uber, all of those companies where people start picking up side jobs and doing them, they originated through the last recession. And so those are good examples of being innovative and creating a new business and doing things new ways. And a recession helps you do that. While other businesses may be falling, may be failing financially, you can come up with a new business in a new way to help people live better. Now, moving on from businesses, if you have enough money, you can also take advantage of low stocks. This is where you come and invest. Find low stocks that may cost less and you're getting a discount on stocks, on investing, and start creating you some passive income. That can also be done in a recession. You want to take advantage of any refinancing options that might be beneficial for items you already own, such as your house or your car. You can give yourself a discount in that sense. Recessions are a great time to start thinking out of the box and prepare when others may not be preparing. Another good side hustle is reselling. Again, I'm bringing you that video next week on how I do reselling. I've done it for 3 years, and I've done it to try to get out of debt. But the first 2 years I did not take it seriously because I was working so many overtime hours at my job. I no longer do that. From now on, I basically use all my man hours in my personal time and building my personal businesses and assets. So I'm going to bring you that video on how I've been reselling for the past 2-3 years and how you can make money too if you are looking for a side hustle. But let me get to the good news. The good news is that whether there's a recession or any kind of issues that may arise, our God, the God we serve, is gracious and he's merciful, and he will help you get through the problems. He will also warn you before it actually happens. And this is what I mean by, being observant and not sitting back and just watching. God gave us a brain to think, and we have to use our brain to use good common sense to get things done. So I want to let you know that God will always warn you. In the Bible, there was a story of Joseph, and Joseph was taken to a land and sold as a slave. But when he got to that land, he actually ended up working for a Pharaoh. And Pharaoh had a dream that needed to be interpreted. And Joseph told him what that dream meant. And that dream meant that there was going to be a famine. And God warned them that there was going to be a famine. There was a dream where there was some cows, and the cows were really skinny, and there were some stalks, and the stalks had basically died. And the dream interpretation was about the famine. And so God basically told them that they would have 7 years of overflow, and then they would have 7 years of a famine, and that Joseph would need to prepare for this famine. So Joseph told the Pharaoh what happened, and they start preparing for that famine. This is also important because I want to talk about this video in my Patreon if you want to go join my Patreon. But basically, there was a famine that had 7 years of good overflow, 7 years of famine, and they actually, during the good years of overflow, put back grain so they could prepare for the famine. And that's what you need to do for recessions. You always need to be preparing for the next financial issue when it does come and does arise. Because in America, we're in limbo right now. We don't know if our country is going to be the great country that it's always been, or if we're going to have a dynamic shift in our country, and what our country is and what it used to be may no longer be anymore. And if you're interested in that, I saw a video by, I think it's Ray Dalio, and it's called The World Changing Order. Look that up and you'll see what I mean by this. It's just that countries reign for a certain amount of time, So eventually that rain and that time set has to run out. So we don't know if the U.S. rain and time is up. We just don't know. And so it's always good to be preparing. It's always good to be intentional with everything you do. And that's what we talk about here. I have a Bible verse for you. Psalms 37:23 says, I have been young and now I'm old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging for bread. So if you are the righteousness of God, the Bible says you have never seen the righteous forsaken. God will never leave you, nor begging for bread. And there's plenty of stories in the Bible where, I think I'm rocking my camera, sorry. There's plenty of stories in the Bible where God has provided to people when they didn't have food. God can do the same thing for you. I believe in God and his power and his miracles. And don't be religious and think you know what God can do, because God is still doing new things in the earth and things that people have never even heard of. So I want to let you know, even in a recession, there's good news. You have God. If you have Jesus Christ in your life, you have God, you have a hope, you have a safety net. And even in panic or fear, do not worry, because you have God and he's going to take care of you. No matter what, you'll be fine as long as you have Jesus. And I wholeheartedly believe that. But I just want to give you a video with common sense to help back up the common sense and the faith that you have and you need in your life. Now, whether there is a recession in 2023 or 2024, do not worry. Take some steps. Be ahead of the game. And also, again, if you have Jesus on your side, there's nothing to worry about. He's already taking care of everything. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, do whatever you can to help support it. I thank you for watching. And I hope I gave you some information to help you, or at least help you think about it. And I hope y'all have a good day.